Hello and welcome to this episode of the Sumerian Investor. This is Mohamed. Buying a house without the need to take a loan from the bank or with seller finance. So what seller finance means? So before we talk about the seller finance and go deeper into this subject, we need to understand what's a traditional finance or buying a house with the traditional way or traditional financing, basically getting the loan from the bank. So in this scenario, we're going to imagine that Mr. Seller has a house he wanted to sell. He wanted $400,000 for his house and he needs all his money. What's Mr. Buyer going to do? He's going to go to the bank and he will say, hey, I want to buy this house. It's listed for sale for $400,000. I will pay $20,000 toward the down payment and I want to get a loan for $380,000. So $20,000 from the buyer, $380,000 from the seller. The total will be $400,000. That will be paid to the seller and the house will be transferred to the buyer. This is the traditional finance or the traditional way of buying real estate. With seller finance, instead of going to the bank, the seller himself could finance the house to the buyer. So in this scenario, the seller will become the seller and the bank. The buyer will go to the seller and say, hey, I do have $20,000 I would like to put toward the down payment and I want you to finance the rest of the money. So $20,000 toward the down payment, $380,000 will be financed from the seller to the buyer. Buyer will make the monthly payment to the seller. In this case, he will become the bank. So Mr. Seller will sell the house, but he will keep collecting the monthly payment for a period of time that's been agreed on between the buyer and the seller. In this case, we will call it the seller finance or getting finance from the seller. Well, there are a lot of benefits for the buyer and for the seller to do this transaction. We will dig deeper into that on a different video. Stay tuned with us. Thank you so much for listening and see you in the next one.